Welcome back. So, in this video, we're going to be talking about the email template that we're sending and everything to do with that. So, this email template I learned from a masterclass that I took, and I'm going to share my screen and just basically do my work like I would do otherwise, like even if I wasn't on the camera. So, I'm just doing my regular work. You can come join me if you want, and we can work together. But this is the email template that I learned recently, and I'm testing. And honestly, so far, the open rate's been pretty good. Um, so we'll break it down, and I'll show you, how I go about personalizing each email. So mind you, it takes time. So if you're looking for just a cold email template, you can probably find that from Chat GPT, and I don't know if that's going to give you a good open rate, the one that you're expecting. So this people are opening it like 4 or 5 times. So I take that as a win. So this email template is going to take a little bit of time. It's not going to be all on autopilot, but I'll show you how I use the tool that I use in order to automate as much as possible, and and what kind of research, what kind of data points I look at before sending that out, and in order to personalize that email so that person can actually relate to what I'm saying and what we have to do. So, just to give you some introduction, Meetings Machine is the company that I run, and we do outbound outreach for software companies, for like SaaS startups. And we love working with product led companies, and that's because we are very confident, because I've personally made like more than 60,000 calls, and I'm comfortable that these are the companies that I can help, and so I know how to teach and how to build the teams so they can do what needs to be done. So that's where we're starting with product-led companies. So like if you run one of them, we can book a call and I can show you some of the things that you can do. Like, if I understand sometimes founders are just doing too much, so you want to make sure that you're doing too much of the right things instead of just doing things in general. But I also know that founders always or not always have time to do outreach, and this, like, it just makes me sad that and it just gets put on the back burner. So it's like, it's something very important, but founders have a lot of stuff to do, so that's why they're never able to put enough volume into the outreach that they do. So this is what we kind of help them with, so they can just bring their idea, their vision into reality faster, instead of having to do everything all by themselves. We kind of become their right hand. All right, then. So what I'll do is actually share my screen. I'll close a bunch of tabs and show you the sales engagement platform that we use. And like, basically, you can take it as the type of experience that you'll be getting from us when or if we work together. And this will give you an idea of how we do things, and what your how we're going to go about selling your product. So now what I'm showing you right now is not all. Like, we do a lot more than that for our clients, but this is just to show you how we go about sending the manual emails and personalizing them at Meetings Machine. So this is the platform that we use. It's called upscale.ai, and it's a great alternative for outreach.io. So I love this platform just because I've used outreach.io in the past, and it was pretty nice. Honestly, that was a great software. Uh, but the thing I love about that is a very close alternative. It does everything you need to do, literally, like when it comes to sales engagement and enablement. Um, but it does it for a lot cheaper. Like Outreach, I think it's about 100 some dollars for one user, and they don't allow you to get it for one user, so you have to get multiple users at a time. But for this, I got like a lifetime deal, which was pretty nice. Let me see if I can still find it. I don't know if you guys have heard about AppSumo, so like upscale. Yeah, so like it's ending in 33 hours. I would recommend because I love it so much. So I got like you know, a package which would allow me to put in 10 users. But anyways, that's not the point. I'm not trying to sell you this because there's no benefit to me or like no benefit to me, but at the same time, I'm just telling you that this is a software that you need or a software that does this. You need it because it's going to make your life a whole lot easier. I know other softwares that are close CRM. I've used that. It's pretty good. It's got nice, buckets that you can use, like pre-made filters, which is cool. Um, a dialer, which is also cool, like a power dialer. I like that a lot. It's got something similar, but it involves more buttons. But anyways, so let's get some emails sending, shall we? So now we're just basically going to go to tasks. We're going to see what tasks are due today. And we're basically just going to do some personalization to all of that and send them out. So first, let's just take a look at these. So we've got, as you see, it already loaded the template that I put in here. Now, this is the template that I'm going to be breaking down for you first before we go into the personalization part. So it's got like uh, five different parts. This email. So the first one is subject line. So subject lines like name, comma, quick question. So now I like this, or like this. So what I'm about to tell you is actually what I learned in that masterclass that I recently did. So I'm gonna be basically saying what I learned, and honestly, it's been working pretty well for me. I haven't like I don't have a big enough sample size or have a lot of data to show you what has worked, but I've been getting some crazy number of opens. Like open rate's been pretty darn good. Uh, all right, so and that's just because I think it's just because personalization and you personalize anything, it will uh, like hit the spot, you know. So the first part is the subject line. So we have a quick question here. I should have probably put in a question mark just to make it kind of pop out a little bit more because it just looks like words. You know, it can your eyes don't pay attention. Like you see the difference just by looking at it. Quick question, pretty, plain, but quick question mark. That's just makes you a little pay attention to it a little bit more. So that subject line is because you know people are nosy. People want to know what's going on. If you put in quick question, most likely people are going to be curious about what's in there. Even if they hate cold emails, they're still going to open it. Um, and like it first of all, I think it just goes back to say, why are we sending cold emails to begin with? It's because the prospects that we have are sitting in front of a computer, and in one of the tabs they have their Gmail or whatever mail open. That's because they're working. They want to make sure if they get an email from a team member or boss or whoever, they're on top of it because they don't want to come off as they're slacking. So that is why we want to use cold emails. Now, it might not work for an industry that does not necessarily have an office. So, for example, if you have let's say, a software for home services business, so for example, plumbers. Now, those guys are actually driving. They're out in the field. Uh, they're not just sitting at their desk and checking emails. Mind you, they are for like 10, 20, maybe 1 hour a day, sitting on a desk, and maybe they'll take a look at your email, but they don't have enough time to sit on a desk, especially construction guys. They're too busy. They're out in the field always. So you want to see what's the persona you're targeting, and why, why they would pay, like, basically, are they even looking at their emails? So these guys that I'm targeting with Meetings Machine, they're CEOs and founders of early startups, and they're definitely looking at their emails, because why they're looking is because they've got maybe investors, they've got news that's, like, they're also trying to prospect, so they want to make sure that they don't miss an email from a potential customer. uh, they're also, like, maybe beginning teams, so, like, they're, like, if they're not trying to prospect themselves, then they're managing a small team, and they're directly responsible for managing of those small teams that they have. So they're always on top of their emails and Slack messages. We cannot send them Slack messages, sadly, but we'll use what we have, which is emails. So this is why knowing your prospect is very important. So in the case of construction, you probably want to just cold call them, still send an email with a video or whatever, a demo of your software. That has worked. Actually, I've seen it work, and I've been part of those teams that it worked for. Um, so construction works on phone, because that's how they get, you know, their customers over the phone. Tech companies, they're mostly emails. So you have to know your persona. Don't be stuck in your own way of, like, hey, I need to make this work. No, you won't make it work if your target audience isn't even responding to that method of communication. So now we know why we're sending emails. Now, why quick question is because of those reasons. It could be a it could be a teammate. It could be a question from a potential customer. It could be an investor, whoever that might be, especially for the early age startups. They'll most likely open that quick question. Then we're saying, like, we want to build that familiarity. That's why we wrote, been following. Define is the name of the company. You see it in green. That's like the power of this software. But Define is the name of the company, and you basically want to make yourself familiarized with, if that's a word, if I don't know if I'm saying it right, but anyways, you get the point. So you want to make sure that you are familiar and they're familiar with what you're talking about. So Define is the name of their company, and you just basically compliment them, just so everybody likes compliments, really. So you want to get their ears popped up, ready to hear what's next. So give them a compliment, and this is where you add a little bit of a personalization. Let's assume Define is a software that helps human resource managers um, digitalize everything. So now we'll write something like, hey, I can only imagine how much time it would save all the HR managers. Mind blown. Now, and that's actually why we we have a sequence, just because we want to make sure that we're genuinely meaning what we're saying. Now, you must be thinking that, hey, the cold email doesn't have to be this long. Well, it does, because you want to make sure that you're talking to the right person, you're saying the right thing. You don't just want to send generic emails, because remember, if you do what everybody else is doing, they've got hundreds of other emails that they're receiving every single day, and if yours does not pop out, there is no time for even sending. There's no point of even sending the generic ones. So if you want to send an email, make sure it's a good one. So now, just because we're talking about that, let me jump back into the sequence. Now, I think that will really help drive it home. So this is the sequence that we're using. Now, we only send the manual email only once because that manual email, the first one has to be personalized, and then the follow-ups are all the same. So like you don't have to write each and every follow-up yourself, but it's good to, you know, kind of personalize it. So anyways, so this is the sequence. So when we import a CSV file, first I personally go look at their LinkedIn profile. So now, once I take a look at their LinkedIn profile, you see 277 completed, 171 are skipped. So that means 171 of 277 are not a fit. So I view their LinkedIn profile, make sure that they're a fit, make sure that these are the companies that I can actually help and be confident about it because I've done it before. So, and that's usually the product led companies. So you want to make sure, you know, you want to have us, yeah, like maybe you can get the lists that are just too good, and you know all of those people are in that list are are the ones that you want to work with, your ICP, but you want to clean out your list, and that's my first step. That's what I do. Now not only that is a first step to just to clean the list, but it also builds that report. Now what I'm doing is, as you see the note, I've put in a note that I'm sending the requests to the people who are my ICPs and people who I want to talk to. uh, and I've talked about that in my previous video where I talked about LinkedIn outreach. I did send out a lot of LinkedIn requests and gave you know, a bunch of pointers and templates, if you will, to send out that LinkedIn request. And we actually, while we were doing that, we had those people accept the request. So that was kind of cool. We got instant feedback. So you'll know what works when you're sending a LinkedIn request. Go check that out if you want. But the second, now we've sent them the request, now we've moved them into the next stage of the sequence. This is what we do. Now, people we're talking to, the person defined company, that is the company that we've already established a relationship with, kind of. We're started. We've sowed the seed. So, and I know that this company is in this sequence because I know I can help them. So this just helps me give them a little bit of a, you know, helps me personalize things a little bit better, and I can actually sound confident and not just like pulling things out of my butt, you know. So when I, having done the first step, when I come to the second step, I know what I'm going to say, how I'm going to approach this. And that's the juice of this video. So you want to make sure that you're not just sending same email and making a fool of yourself. Now, after that step, after we send a personalized email, we send them, you know, a generic automatic um, email reply. So like a follow up, sorry. So just make sure this doesn't get buried in there. Did you get a chance to take a look at this? Cool. Now 103 are active in this right now. They will be sent soon. So like you see how it works, right? And then from there on, it's all automatic, and it just goes for 19 days. So now we're going to come back to the personalization. Now we're actually going to go, by the way, I'll go through this and then we can personalize a bunch of emails. I'll go through this so you can actually just get the gist of it. And then if you want to leave this video, go ahead and you can start sending your emails. And then after I go through this template, just imagining some information, you like we'll send out some real emails, and then um, you can stay for that if you want, but you can go send out your emails after you've seen this. Totally cool with me. All right, so now that we've written something personalized, you want to give them an introduction about yourself. That's the third step of your personalized manual email. Now, what you're going to do, hey, this is what I do. I specialize in generating demos for. So this is the line that you have to critically think about. You have to make it short. You have to keep it simple. I believe in keeping it simple because I have hard time understanding the tough words myself. So I'm like, I don't if I don't understand it, I'm not gonna make it look fancy and make a fool out of me because I don't even know what the word means. So I'm just gonna say I specialize in generating demos for SaaS teams who are stuck because they're doing all the outreach themselves on top of 100 other things. Now this is what I am testing, so like it might change in the future, it might stay the same. Like I might test maybe 100 contacts with something else testing, but like you get the idea now. That's what you want. You want to introduce yourself in that third part of this email. Then the fourth part is very, very important. Send out, give them a case study. So now you see this is an HR software we assumed, but you want to give them a case study that is related to them and the work that you've done. So recently we added 15 new demos shown, which like if your show rate's like 80%, that means we added like more than 20 demos, uh, which might show in the future, but 15 shown demos for folks HR in the first month. That's what we're doing. But so now, that is very important and to make sure it is somewhat relative to the company that you're sending the email to. So in this case, it's perfect their software is also for HR managers, and it's also like you've done work for like another HR company. So fourth part is having a great case study that is relevant to the company you're sending an email to. Cool. Now, the fifth and the last part is very important. You basically just want to say, can you take on a few more clients? Let me know, and I can send a few times to chat. So this is called call to action. Like, what do you want? What do you want me to do, bro? Okay, cool. You signed up 15 demos for HR company. Uh, what do you want me to do about that? This is why you put in a call to action. Can you take on a few more clients? Like, I understand if you can't. Cool. But if you can, we can probably give you the same results. Now, um, you don't want to add a calendar link because that's just a lot of, the guy in in the master class, he said it's illusion of the choice, which means in simpler words, like it took me a while to understand what is illusion to choice. It took me a while to understand. It's just like making it harder for them to be able to just book a time with you. So like first they have to decide if they want to click the link, and then they want to put in their time zone, and then they want to select or go back to their calendar and look at uh, when they're available. So you just don't, just make it easy for them. Just let them know, hey, Kadu, if that's how he says his name. When are you available? You know, done. Like Sunday 10. Tell me a time and I'll make it work. Or just say yes to this email and I'll send you the times that work. So like you want that initial yes, and then even in the next email you send them, even if that like if even if in the next email you send them um, an email like a link, a booking link, that should still be fine because that way you'll plus you have their number, so you can just call them. But that way you would have gotten more commitment and more interest. Then you want to say thank you if you want to, but then you just want to put in, your signature. Cool. So now this is the email template that we use that has given us you know, a lot of open rates. It's been pretty good, to be honest. People are viewing it 5 times, 4 times, 3 times. Like this guy I saw, he opened this email twice only, but he opened it 10:30 in the morning and then 12:30 in the in the night. So I was like, I think we got something good here. Anyways, give it a shot if it works for you. Now, if you're sick of me, cool, leave. But now we're gonna personalize each and every email and send a few of them so you know the process that I use to personalize. Like, you see this line, how do I come up with this? That's what we're going to be going through. It is very important because a lot of people don't know, um, what should I write? Okay, now I know what they do, but what should I say to them? And in the end, or not in the end, but like somewhere in between, I'm also going to share some of the tricks. They're not really tricks, but truths about how you can kind of make your life easier when you're sending a personalized email, like basically a thinking paradigm. Cool. Now, just because we assumed that they're an HR company, I'm going to get rid of this because I don't know what they are. Um, so we're just going to open their website. So finally, I don't know what I said yes to, but probably cookies. I always say yes to cookies. So finally, legal technology for lawyers by lawyers. That is great. So now we know that they're trying to make lawyers' life easier. We create legal tech solutions to free lawyers like you from frustrating repetitive tasks. Now you know what it does. You kind of have an idea of what it does. Like, it's basically a management system for lawyers. Now I'm just gonna say, what a blessing for a lawyer. Actually, you know what? I'm not gonna say that. I'm gonna say, finally, lawyers can free up time to do what matters. What carries more weight? And then I'm gonna say, gotta love define. Now, the reason why I wrote this is because I am always, like, these days, I'm always thinking, how can AI not do this? Right? I'm pretty sure AI can do anything these days, but like, what's what's uncommon? So, like, if it was a cold email that was automated, that it only filled in the green fields that you see, what would that look like? So, like, it would definitely not have this. And now I entered some keywords that I think are very personable to them, because, like, this guy is a lawyer. He said, like, by lawyers. So now this guy is a lawyer themselves. So I mentioned the word lawyer because in a cold bulk email, the AI won't just go in every email and automate and write down every email based upon on what the website says. It's very unlikely. Maybe there are systems that, but I don't know of any. So now I said lawyers because that's something that he can relate to. And I wanted to make sure that I do this, especially these three dots and gotta. That's because I want to make sure that he thinks, he or she, whatever that is, um, that they think that I wrote it with my hands. Sometimes I would even say that, hey, this is a handwritten email. But anyways, you get the idea. Now we're basically good to go. We've got all the things checked and send in complete. Bada bing, bada boom. That's how you say it. Too Indian for that. All right. Now, new standard of local government software. Leverage state of art solutions. Okay, we got local government. So now, the first trick that I said, not trick, truth that I said that I'm going to share, if you stayed, was that was that was the fact that we want to humanize everything that we can. Okay, we want to humanize all the interactions that we have in order to maybe move a little bit closer to email bounce back you saw. So that was probably a wrong address, which I'll go check. So what are you going to do to humanize things? You're going to bring social proof and you're going to bring personal experience. So now, this case study that we put in, it is kind of a personal experience. Now, I know for sure that when we were working with Folks HR, we also helped a lot of government, local governments, cities to implement their HR systems. Now we can do the same thing with that, with the Fund View. So it's a software plus it just helps them, accounts payable and all that stuff. So like we can make it relatable because I have that experience. Now I believe that everybody has that experience, has some sort of experience. So like whatever your experience is, you're going to use that. Don't let that go and wane. Put it in there, and that way it'll humanize you. Folks HR, it was lots of fun working with city offices. You see the point, right? Like that's because I've made personally a lot of calls to the city offices. Now I know that I can just use that here. Fund View, what a blessing for the government. So yeah, first we're gonna add in the personalization. So what all are they doing? They're helping them streamline the accounts payable, vendor management, perfect, permits, city permits, and all that stuff. Has been sold for the longest. Now you have it pretty good nailed down. Getting permits has been a hassle. That means that Brian's going to think that that this guy knows about Fund View, and this guy has done some research. He's not just sending emails. Plus, now even if he thinks here that this guy is just full of bullshit, if he reads this part, he's going to know that no, Folks HR software, and they worked with city government offices. So this might be too long, but I'm going to give it a read and see if it's good to go. Following Fund View for wow. I'm just gonna to make it more personable. I'm just gonna say anyway. I specialize. All right. Next. So they help streamline template-based documents, forms, translations, and collecting, storing documents. So now we definitely want to get rid of all this service LLC. This makes it look very techy and not so personable. But here we're going to add. I can't imagine not having a solution like this for. Let's find out what are their customers. Let's see, testimonials is a great way to see what industry they like to serve. Because usually the thing is with testimonials, they're usually like the product fit is pretty accurate because they do the job and then the customer loves it. That means you want to do the same job for same customers. Campbell Union. Schools. There you go, public schools. That's a great piece of information. Now, for schools. I just like to exaggerate it so he knows, he or she, whoever that is, knows that I've done my research. That's the whole point of this thing. Personalize the heck out of this. Let's see. Let's just take a look at this features. Online ordering, automatic renewals. What we can say what a blessing for the businesses that has renewals, and then in brackets, every business these days. Such a blessing for subscription-based businesses. Every business these days. LOL. I don't think I have to make it make it professional. I think this is just good enough. Manufacturers rely on Modicure to build their bills of materials. Let's see. So this is for construction companies. And because, again, you want to make sure you're personalizing things. And just because I do have experience with personalizing all these, actually do have experience with construction, I can say, now I'm going to get this thing out of this. Working with, I'm going to put in some names. And scheduling more than and booking and getting More than 300 demos made me realize how big the industry is. Cool. I'm gonna go with this. So now you see, like adding the personal experience wherever you can. Cool. So there you go, guys. You've seen it. You've seen all you need to send cool emails. Now, what's going to happen is if we go to the previous tasks, uh, let's just take a. There won't be any active task because the tasks like emails scheduled in. You see, this is going to send that email in 6 seconds. So when this email is sent, there's going to be a task that is going to be there for an automatic follow-up. Approaching. You see this? So this automatically popped up. So it's due in two days. If he doesn't reply, it's automatically going to follow up with Bill, and then he's just going to be in that follow-up queue. So this is your answer to how do I send personalized emails every single time. I don't know why this is 16% opens. I think that's because 171 tasks were skipped, but the open rate is pretty good. So yeah, you see this guy? He opened at 10:09, and then in the morning, and then at night 12:31 he opened another time. Cool. So we can filter this. I think it only shows you today, but if we see here, these are all the emails that were opened yesterday. 21. That guy opened it twice. Claudia opened it. You see this guy open it 4 times. I should probably give him a call. This guy opened it 4 times again. See, the name is kind of similar, but they're different people. 2 times, 3 times, 3 times. That's pretty cool. 3 times. And this is showing the first 10, I think. Yeah, first 10, but like there's 20 of them. Anyways, so I just wanted to show you this because this works. And I hope it works for you too. And go crush it. Send them emails and put them in a sequence. You got this. Goodbye for now. And we'll chat next time.